exciting and new. Come aboard, we're expecting you and love, life's sweetest reward. Let it flow, it floats back to you. Something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't hurt anymore. It's an open smile on a friendly shore. Exciting and new. Come aboard, we're expecting you and love, life's sweetest reward. Let it flow, it floats back to you. Something for everyone. Set a course for adventure, your mind on a new romance. And love won't.
Opposition.
It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
This is Derek. Can you see me, John?
Not yet. Just make sure you'll turn your video on.
Oh, hang on. Yes, it's okay. It's only just come up with the option.
Yeah, that's all good.
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
David.
Johnny, Colonel.
There we go. So
Hello, Derek.
Derek's there. So everyone's going to be patient. This is going to be great, and it's a learning process.
Yeah.
And
Hello,
it's going to be good.
Right. Derek, you're looking good.
Yes.
I'm fine. Yeah, I'm fine. Yeah.
Oh, how
Right.
do I get on?
Is this going to be Martin Walker? Which Martin's this?
That's Martin the bellboy. He needs to turn his video on. Same as Noel and Tinker needs to turn their on.
Yeah,
Right.
There she is.
Yeah,
There's
Tinker's
Tinker.
got it on.
I'm just getting set up now. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Here they
Oh, it's
come.
coming up now.
Martin,
I'll leave
Steve.
it to you. Have a great time.
See, Dave.
Yeah.
All good.
Who has the beers?
Hey, Noel.
Sorry.
Who's the beers?
Yeah. Do you want an Allsops or an Olympia? Whichever you want, Noel.
I'll have a slot. I'll have a slot.
Actually, that's a funny question, Noel, because as administrator, I can't leave my post. So I've got my beer here just for later on.
Oh my
John,
goodness.
Seamus in there.
you're always organised.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're good. Yeah.
Hello, Derek. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm pretty good. Yep.
Who, Derek? Derek Scott and Derek Warmington. How are you
There's
doing?
only Derek's. Yeah,
Yeah,
go on.
both,
Yeah,
yeah.
yep. All right.
Where's Scotty?
And Martin,
Scotty.
I don't know you. Martin, I don't know you.
He's just appeared. Yeah.
You're
Scotty's
Martin the
there.
bellboy.
Martin the bellboy.
Yeah.
That's me.
Yes, Martin.
Ah,
I've seen
Steve
it.
there on
That's
Palm
right.
Island.
Hi, Steve.
Yeah, Steve's there in Palm Island.
He needs
Well
he needs to unmute. Steve needs to unmute. Us to unmute. There you go.
Well done, Colonel. You're keeping an eye on all of us.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Can you hear me, John?
John, this is the you're so organised and so well done. I'll have to really congratulate you and your sidekicks.
Well, yeah, but
Yeah.
basically, as you all know, last week was such a mess up that I took Pete Stevens' advice and we had to go with Zoom. I had to go with Zoom. Yeah, and yeah.
Getting messages, John.
Yeah, I know. Okay, I will send it to the crew bar now. Okay.
Well done, Colonel.
Yeah, I think so.
Scotty's there.
In case they get confused, I know.
Now, who's iTech? Is that Ollie?
Oh,
it's
here
not
we
Ollie.
go. Hope it's not a porn site. Hope it's not a porn site.
Yeah. If it is, I hope I'm not in it.
Somebody there, iTech. Who's iTech?
Well, when
That's
we
me.
turn the video on and audio, we'll find out.
It's me, it's Ollie.
It is Ollie.
Yeah, bloody hell.
Name again, Ollie.
Give me a minute.
All right.
Right.
All right.
Hang on. Let's get everybody.
Anybody?
Here comes Pete Stevens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
You
There
got
he
me
is.
now.
My goodness.
There's
me.
Ollie.
Big
Hi,
thing
Ollie.
coming in.
Hello. All right,
Good to see
buddy.
you, Ollie. Haven't seen you for 44 years.
40.
Well, 44 years. Is that yourself, Ollie? Is that
you-
yourself?
Ollie, you tried to wipe my eye in the cricketers bar.
Oh, flipping
Yeah.
it. Hey, well done, Pete. Pete's got up. Now, which football team's that up there, Pete? Sun Princess All Stars, is it?
It might well be. Hold on, I might have mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, yeah,
There you
absolutely.
go. All right,
Yes.
mate.
Yeah, you got Mel there. You got Phil Butcher. I think that's the manager.
Yeah, yeah.
Mate, there's
Hang on.
Manchester Mick.
Yeah.
Angelo's just arrived in the bar.
Yeah.
Daly's turning up. Donut's just about
Seamus-
to
What's
here.
that? What's it
Seamus
was that?
Daly. Seamus Daly.
Yeah, yeah.
Colin
Sorry,
Dowd, he-
Steve.
Colin's turned up. Seamus is
Hello.
due.
How are you?
Yeah.
I-
Everybody all right?
Colin.
Everybody, there's the Hoagmeister.
Angelo, you need to.
Yeah.
Colin Doughty and I joined the Sun Princess the same day. We got interviewed by Mr. Shepherd on
We
the
did.
same day.
Oh,
I'm not
very
going.
good. What, down in Southampton?
Down in Southampton, yeah.
Right, just a minute, boys. Angelo can't hear. Oh, we can't hear.
Well, you need to turn on. you need to
Unmute yourself.
Unmute.
Unmute, Angelo. The bottom of your screen.
Yeah,
To the left.
possibly. Brendan's turning up in his boat, the Sun Princess.
That's Noel's boat. Noel's boat. Mr. Hogan's
Oh,
boat. Look, Noel. Can you see the picture?
Oh,
Hello, Brendan. How are you?
all right, connecting to audio. Right.
Who is
You,
Ched?
Angelo?
Who is Ched? Who's
I
Ched?
am here. I managed to get on.
Okay, Angelo.
Good.
Nice to meet you guys. Nice to see you.
Good.
Oh, excellent, Angelo.
At the moment.
How you guys doing?
Oh, Seamus needs to put on video and audio and is mute.
Well, he will. And Dave, you need to explain to everybody the system, how when it gets out of control, I will mute everybody until
Yeah.
all audio is returned.
Absolutely. Yeah. There will be.
Bloody lootly.
Yeah, exactly. And there will be an alarm for that, obviously.
I wonder who Ched is. Who's Ched?
Not sure. And Kit's turning up.
Yes, Kit. Yes. Yeah.
Hello.
He's on mute.
Kit's
and
arriving.
his camera's
You
on.
need to turn your video on, Kit.
Amos has got his mute
Yes,
on
yes,
still.
yes, Kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it takes a while to get used to it.
I know it's a learning process. It's 2021 now, so we're all good, right?
2021.
Hey, John, I thought we can see all each other in little screen. I didn't know there was all individual.
No, you can. You need to go to the gallery on your laptop.
Go to view. Go to view. The camera, and then there's a little arrow sign. Just click on that, and it'll say gallery.
Oh, so where's that?
Oh,
then?
lovely.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Mike's turned up from in the kitchen. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm Ched.
You're Ched. Okay.
Share
There's
content,
First Officer
copy.
Mike Gold. First Officer Mike Gold.
Mike. welcome.
It is erase, chat, disconnect, cancel. No, I don't see where to go.
Or
It's the top right where it says view.
there should be a little icon saying view.
No, stop.
No, I've got that.
No, don't. I'm on my phone. I don't see that.
You're on your phone.
That's right.
Swiping across, Angelo, left and right.
What?
Just swipe across, left and right, and you'll get.
Oh, I got you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well done, Steve.
Oh, did you see the message from John
Oh,
Herbert?
there's Nuala now. She just come up.
There was Nuala. I saw Nuala.
Yeah, there they are. There's
Seamus is there.
Tinker.
There is Seamus.
David.
Seamus, on your screen, there's a mute.
He's got his. He's mute. He has to hit his mute button.
Press the little microphone, Seamus, and you'll be heard.
I don't think they can hear him.
You're on mute.
Okay, so
The very same guy.
Okay, so I have muted everybody now. So yeah, so Seamus, you need to unmute. It's on the bottom left. Okay, so everybody can start unmuting themselves one by one. You can all come back in. The mute is on the far left.
Got it.
Right. So this is how we'll control the crew bar. Isn't that right, Dave?
Absolutely. I have got my
Spurs beating Burnley 4-0 and Chelsea and Manchester United playing out draw.
Steve, you have to unmute.
With everything, see all the goals.
Someone needs to turn the telly off. David, turn that off.
So it is. The scene is set at Bramall Lane. Can the Blades win a fourth game of this season?
I'm going to mute it.
He's the boss now. John is the boss now. Watch it.
You had a television on.
Kate,
who's that?
Kate, she's still on the mute. She's still mute.
Right.
Donut, Colin, you're on mute. Bottom left.
Chad is on mute.
That's okay. If they're not talking, then they might as well be on mute. I think Mr. Warmington wants to say something.
I'm on free now.
Derek Warmington, press your mute button, bottom left.
Okay,
you're on.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Yeah.
Seamus,
hi.
you've got the mute button on.
Right.
Turn it off. One.
On Super Sunday, it's Sheffield United.
What's Taffy up to? What's Taffy doing?
Someone needs to turn the radio off. TV off.
Oh my God. Hi, Daffy.
Five league games on the bounce.
Okay, right.
No.
It says now.
13
I
games.
was looking at Seamus is here. No, Seamus is still on mute.
David, me, yeah?
Is he?
Give him a break. He's still trying to work it out.
Everyone's there. Good, that's right. Machine right. Right, the good news is everyone that's on the screen have been on previous weeks, either through Ollie's Pocket or on the Crew Bar main viewing. So we're all quite familiar with each other at the moment. Colonel did say that hoping he might see Mike. Which Mike you hope to see later, Steve? Colonel?
Well, I'm hoping to see. Well, first of all, while I got your attention, whoever's got their radio and TV on, please turn it off. Otherwise, or mute the mic. I was hoping to get the two persons, Mike Holdsworth and Martin Booker.
Daffy is on mute.
Phil Butcher,
Daffy, you're on mute.
Can anyone come in? Phil Butcher to Crew Bar. Oh, is that a private? No, anyone come in, can't they, Colonel?
As long as they got the link, yes. You'll press the correct link, yeah.
Can you see me, Colonel?
Oh, yes, you're good. Yeah, we can see you. Yeah.
Should be coming up.
We've got that one. John, I'm just going through to see who's on mute.
No.
Seamus, Daffy.
Or whatever's going on.
I take
Yeah.
Collins on. Seamus is on mute. He needs to come off
And
mute.
Taff.
Just click on the microphone.
Taff
Yeah.
is on mute.
Just a little microphone symbol.
I'm on.
It should be on the left or the right hand side of your screen at the bottom.
Yeah.
And John Herbert needs to turn his video on. And I'm thinking we're going to lose the fleet manager soon. I think he's not impressed with this organisation.
We maybe go back to Holly Scott.
No.
We're up to, if everyone puts the screens on, we're up to 20. 1, 2, 3,
Yeah, told you,
4,
told you, yeah.
20. Looking good. Looking good.
Well, I have to go back and forwards. I have to go back and forwards to see you all.
Yeah, don't get too dizzy, Angelo.
Yes, I'm swiping back and forth.
John, James is having problem muting. Can somebody run him through it?
I sent him,
Okay, Noel, am I in now?
Oh, there you are.
Am I in yet?
I can hear you now.
I think somebody's interfering with me.
yeah.
Seamus. You rephrase that, Seamus, please.
Seamus,
Seamus, you rephrase that.
Seamus, years ago, you wouldn't take as long to go in, would it?
Right. Okay, John, take control.
Okay, John.
Okay, you're on. Where is it?
We're up to it. Steve's there. Now, the one interesting factor is that actually I don't know if we did ask Kit, because Kit over the weeks, we've asked everybody when they started, why they started. I can't remember if we actually did ask you when you started, and then when you did, why did you, and what ships did you work on?
I worked on the Sun, and I did a couple of short stints on IP, but I joined in Los Angeles in May of '79, heading up to Alaska. And it was kind of an odd thing because, as some of you know, my dad was the attorney for the company, Reed Williams, and he and my mother were booked they were joining in Vancouver when we got up to Vancouver. So it was kind of, we'd agreed not to tell anybody that I was his daughter, but he didn't keep the secret. So it was out as soon as he got on board. And, but anyway, I joined on May of '79 and was on the Sun most of that time until October of '81. So I did 2 Caribbean seasons and 3 Alaskas.
And was it that you just had you just left college and you were just looking at?
I ran away from college and ran away to sea. Yeah.
No, that's better. That sounds more like Brendan.
It was the other way around.
Yeah, you did it the other way around, didn't you, Brendan? Yeah. Yeah, you did. You ran away from the sea.
Right now,
Okay,
just
that's
going back into onto my screen, and I'm very lucky because I can see everybody all at once. And I want to show my ignorance because I'm looking. Is that Mike Hawksworth coming in the pink, in the red top, or is
that's Bobo.
Bobo, bloody hell, Bobo. Bobo from Down Under.
Yeah.
Well, actually, Down Under, I'm in England.
How are you? You are. Yeah.
He's been stuck there for a year.
Fantastic. Well, look, for guys that you may or may not know, Bobo Johnson, and obviously Cruz, that was good friends with Colonel, and Bobo actually came as a surprise to my 50th birthday when he was over from Australia. But Bobo, but look, we're many of us have been in the crew bar week on week. But can I just ask you, like I did with Kit, can you give us a start? Why you went to sea, when you went to sea, and what ships and what did you do?
Okay, all right. well, many years ago, I was born and bred in Kenilworth in Warwickshire, and I was a catering manager for a department store. And one day I just got cheesed off with the job, and I had a lady that was working for me managing one of the stores, and she said, "Oh, my son works on the Canberra." And I said, "Oh, well, what's the Canberra?" I didn't know anything about ships. I'm from Kenilworth. It's a small town, and you're not by the sea or anything like that. Anyway, so basically I decided, oh, come on, let's give this a go. You know, the money was better than what I was earning. And so I trundled myself off to London to P&O, and well, actually I joined the pool in Prescott Street and then went to P&O and ended up being on the Canberra. And I joined the Canberra in April the 18th, 1974. Now, I only lasted 2 weeks on the Canberra. I was a winger in the restaurant, a pretty poor winger at that. And I hated it. Literally hated it. 2 weeks in the restaurant, and I'll never forget the first day. And, you know, like, I don't know who the head waiter was, but anyway, I was in the aft restaurant and had tables right at the back. And anyway, it was a pretty bad experience. So anyway, I got off 2 weeks later, and I thought, I don't know whether this is good for me. So in the end, I gave it another go, and I joined the Arcadia, and I flew out to Vancouver, and then basically ended up on there. I was supposed to be a waiter, but I got there and they didn't have a job for me. There's a real cock up, and I ended up being, they said, well, we can do one of two things. Because when I went to sign on, they said, oh, we haven't got a list of your name even. And I said, well, I'm here. Here's my books. And so in the end, what happened was they said, I've got a job as cinema attendant. And I said, well, what's this job, cinema attendant? I didn't have a clue what it was. I didn't realize it was an usherette. So anyway, I did that first 9 months, signed off in Sydney, and then did a Ronzay as a PRS, and I worked with Stevie Walker Taffy and Oriana and
well, Bobo, I'm the main person you work with in the
Oriana. Yeah, and then I ended up working with Colonel in the Ocean Bar, and they used to call me the Road Runner, remember? Because I used to run around the room and give Colonel grief, give him that many orders. I used to test his skills. Yeah, I had him about 12 orders, didn't I?
Okay, I think that's it for Bobo, Dave.
Yes.
He's gone over his allotted time. I want to go to the fleet manager. I want to go to the fleet manager and ask him about why was Bobo employed if he quit the Canberra? You should have fired him, Derek.
You should have fired me.
That was actually before I got involved in recruitment. I was doing the admin, and I have a feeling that I organised the charter that took him to Vancouver and was on the flight. I was just remembering.
Oh, right, yeah, I was 74.
Wow.
Yeah, because I just joined Fleet Personnel as the admin manager, and the guy I was taking over was a man called Tony Barrett, who was an ex-deck officer. So I went with him on a sort of makey-learny flight to Vancouver. Remember that? And it was an absolute killer because was it Dan Air? We went on.
Dan Air, that's it, you got it.
The plane was bloody freezing, couldn't sleep. And of course, I had 24 hours there and then fly back. When I got home, I was disorientated from lack of sleep. Remember that?
Yeah. Bobo, you can thank Derek now for employing you on that.
Yeah,
trip.
thank you very much, sir. Even though it was a cock up.
I was going to say, I was just going to say, as an aside, you'll all know Derek Houghton.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's 91, 92 now. I was on Oriana in the 60s, and his father was the cinema steward. Did you know that?
No.
So he was a bedroom steward up with the suites, and his father was the cinema steward. I can't remember the chap's first name now. It's whatever. It's gone out of my head. But
yeah. Amazing.
Wow.
Then there was the one-armed bandit on Canberra, wasn't there? What was his name? Remember him?
No, I don't know him.
Cinema steward on Canberra had one arm. He was known as the one-armed bandit, rather obviously. And it was because he did the job of ex-servicemen who were disabled were actually cleared to sea, despite the fact they had a sort of disablement. And he was a cinema steward on the Canberra for years. I can't remember his name now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
So you were able to have done it with two arms. There you are.
Yeah.
Someone said he got his arm caught in the till.
He could be.
There's a few of them like get caught in the till.
John Herbert.
Yeah. John, he's just left the building. He might be talking to Phil Butcher incognito.
Well, he's joined the crew bar, but he hasn't turned his video on.
John Evans has obviously not set his alarm clock, otherwise he'd have appeared, wouldn't he? Or was it? Or did he craft?
Probably, yeah. I think so. Well, look, congratulations to everybody that's got zoomed in, especially Taffy in his rocket, which is parked up behind him.
Come on, Dave.
Where is he? Oh, there he is. Yeah, I'll tell you rocket. Yeah.
I'm impressed. Now,
he's on. Alan is on mute.
Has everybody got their gallery view on, so you're seeing more than just yourself?
Yeah. I was just seeing bits and pieces because I'm just on my phone.
No, I haven't got. I've got one.
No, I cannot. No.
That's okay. When you see the replay, you'll see everybody, which is a good feature because there's in-house recording. So.
Oh, I can see your recording. Yes.
I'm looking here. John Herbert is here. He just hasn't.
Go over.
With his video going.
Yeah, he and Phil Butcher say they can't connect.
How strange.
John's been on.
He's still on. All he has to do is turn his video on.
Yeah, and the button, I guess.
Video. That's what it says, doesn't it? That's all he needs to do.
Connect. That's all right.
Okay. Well,
Any message, Dave?
Yeah. I'll just call it. Just messaging John now.
And Phil.
Colonel, who's next up? Who's speaking? We've got Mike Gold on, and he's not cooking.
Oh, he's not cooking. Oh, okay.
I'll tell you what, Mike. I know you did it once before, but everyone is interested in what you did when you sailed on the Oriana out of Sydney, being towed to Singapore. Was it Singapore or Hong Kong?
No, John, it was Japan. It was Osaka. Can you hear me?
Of course we can. Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, it was Osaka, and it was 4.5 weeks. It was a long time, and the ship is not as you imagined it or remember it. There was no sanitation, no fresh water, virtually nothing. So when it got really hot, we didn't wear any clothes because there was no point. We couldn't wash them. We're all men. So the chief engineer was the cook, and that's about all he did do, really.
Oh,
but none of us did much. Am I still talking, or what's?
Yes, we are listening. We are listening.
We're listening.
Yeah, it was a lovely voyage, really. I mean, to imagine that huge ship with nobody on it at all, and you could just stand. We're only doing about 6 knots, 7 knots, so you could stand at the rail and see an awful lot of marine life, which was something you never could really do when we were sailing the seas. Yeah, it was a fascinating experience. My only task was to switch the navigation lights on at night and to turn them off in the morning. And, you know, I can always remember I had buckets of water lined up on the bridge wing and the sun heated them up. And at 6 o'clock, I would go up there and tip them over my head and have a bit of a wash. And I thought, Christ, 16 years ago, you know, if it moved, you saluted it, and if it didn't, you painted it. I never could have thought that you'd be standing stark naked, tipping buckets of water over your head on this lovely bridge wing. But anyway, that was one of the experiences. And then when the wind blew, we sailed, and at times we sailed right up parallel to the tug, right out on the end of the chain, which was 2,500 feet long, I think it was.
Wow.
So we sailed one way, then we would sail the other way. So it was quite an exciting experience. And one of the main choices each day was to decide where we were going to have the evening barbecue. Which deck? The favorite was the cruise swimming pool deck, actually, up forward there. I don't know how many of you remember it, but it was elevated, and we could see the tug, and it was the place we chose. We also did a lot of fishing, actually, and we caught a fair few things, several sharks. But anyway, to cut it short, it was a tremendous experience. There were just 5 of us. We did get flooded. The Bureau Square got flooded with the heavy rain on the in the tropics. We had to try and get the water away. But I do remember getting a telex or a message anyway, but 2 days out, to say there was huge press interest in Osaka, and could we paint the bow to make the ship look a bit more attractive. Well, we had half a can of paint or something or other. Anyway, we did have a bit of a laugh, but we did try and make an effort. But we arrived in Osaka rather unwashed and rather smelly, and we had to dress up in uniform because there was a big reception committee. Alan Langley came out from head office to greet us, and I do remember the money hadn't been paid at the time, and we were told we couldn't step off the ship until the money had been received. So that was, there was our hotel waiting for us with hot showers and everything, and we couldn't go there because the deal hadn't been settled. But that didn't last long. No, it was very sad in many ways. I mean, I was last down the gangway after I had changed the ensign from the red ensign to the rising sun in front of the Japanese owners. And that was very difficult, actually, that ceremony. Very, very difficult. And I do remember stepping down the gangway for the last time and looking back and seeing the rising sun flowing out from the stern, which was, I mean, I was on that ship for many, many years, probably 8, 9 years in total, I think. So she was my alma mater, as was the sun too. I was on her for six straight years. So loved both of those ships.
Yeah, it must have been like hanging over Hong Kong to the Chinese.
Your video is stopped.
Yeah, well, it was in a way, yeah.
Go back to the beginning here, and your microphone is muted. I can press the second.
Where did I had it gone? Why did you?
Okay, I just wanted to see more people.
Who's that talking? Who's that talking, Dave?
Is that me?
Mrs. Daly.
Okay.
Hi. I'm going to get up again now.
Seamus, you're looking good there.
It says I was muted, so I was trying to sort it out. So listen, guys, I was pressing buttons here, and I was seeing 4 people, 4 different people, and then I could see myself. That's okay, yeah?
Yeah.
You have to move back and forward.
Yeah,
I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots at the bottom. I can press them, and I see different photographs.
That's good. Yeah. That's good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's okay, guys. Yeah, I'm doing well, so fine.
Okay. So I've muted everybody. So Dave, pay attention now, Dave. So obviously we're having trouble getting John Herbert and Phil Butcher in the bar, but in the big picture, 2 out of 20 is not bad. So there he is as we talk. So everybody unmute now, please. You can all unmute and say hi to John. It took him half hour to get in.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
Yeah.
Hi.
Good morning, John.
Oh, there's
Okay, here he goes.
Where is it?
Come in, John.
Correcting audio. Come on, John. Nearly there, mate. You're nearly there.
Come back, John. All is forgiven.
Hey!
There you go. All right, now we got.
I've just got on.
Good. Okay.
There's John Herbert. There he is.
Hi, John.
Well,
I think you're gonna have to give instructions.
Got it.
Oh,
Come in, John.
Hello. I've had a problem. I can only get one. I think it says people speak. Their picture comes up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That means
I
you
couldn't-
have
I-
to switch. You have to
I
switch
couldn't-
back and forward.
Yeah, I couldn't pick up on my laptop. I've been trying on my laptop. I get through to the what is it? I forgot the thing now.
The Zoom.
The
Zoom.
passcode, and it won't accept the passcode.
Yeah. So the best way to do it is to download the app onto your laptop. That way you don't have to put any passcodes in. You just click on the link.
Yeah, I did I got the download on there, but I couldn't find the link.
Well, I sent it multiple times to.
Yeah, I've got it. I've been trying it, but as I say, it gets to the passcode, and it won't accept it. It comes up. It's not the right code.
We got Peter.
John, you left a word out. You left the J out.
We got Peter Pratt.
We've got
Holy
Peter
moly.
coming in.
I haven't seen him in a long time.
Okay, everybody must applaud him when he
Here
comes
we
on.
go now.
Where is it?
Peter.
He's a mute.
Turn on your
Hi,
video,
Peter.
Pete. Turn on your video, Peter.
Where's your mics? Mike, get your video, your microphones. Yeah.
And the video.
And the video, Peter.
And video, Peter. Bottom left for microphone, and you should be on a video. See what comes up.
There we go.
Seamus, you're on. Peter's there. Wonderful.
Okay.
Right.
Speak, Peter, I can't see you. I need to see you. I can't speak, Peter.
Yeah, you're on, Peter.
Oh, hello, Peter Pratt. I saw you.
Okay, everybody give Peter Pratt the chair, please. Everybody mute themselves.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely to see everybody. Yeah. Nice to see you, Colin. You haven't changed one bit.
You really think so?
Have you tried Specsave, Peter?
Hi, Peter. It's got to be about 30 years. It's got to be 30 years.
Hi, Derek. How are you?
I think we last met in a hotel in San Juan.
I think you're probably
Derek, can you rephrase that, please?
There was some meetings, and there was a tropical storm outside. It was quite bizarre. Do you remember that?
Wasn't just ships that pass in the night then?
Yeah. Remembering, going back to Oriana, do any of you hear the story of Oriana nearly hitting a World War II mine? Probably before your time.
Yeah, I was on there then, coming out of Naples, wasn't it, Derek?
John
Was
Herbert
it
might remember it.
coming out or going into Naples?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right, yeah.
Yeah. We were up at 5 in the afternoon. They suddenly said, "Oh, we're altering course to take a closer look at what we think is a mooring buoy that's come adrift." So the ship heeled over, and we went for a gander, looked over, and there's this bloody mine there, all the horn sticking out.
That was Commodore Edgecombe on board then.
No, it was Willowsdale, because
Derek, what year was that?
I think it was 63, wasn't it?
No, it was 65. Yeah, and
Was it?
Willowsdale was going to say, "Well, I think it was a bloody mine, but I wasn't going to nudge it to find out." That was what he said. Of course, there was always the patch on the bow where she hit the aircraft carrier. That was in 1963, wasn't it?
Yeah. I joined after that voyage, actually. That was when I joined. I think it was in May 63.
Yeah, I joined in November. Yeah.
Well, but wait a second. It was Kit Williams' dad who was the lawyer for that incident, wasn't it, Kit?
Which incident was that?
When the Oriana hit an aircraft carrier.
Yeah, in 62?
Yeah.
63. Well, it was 62 or early 63, whichever, yeah.
Right. I've got a fabulous, Dad just died about a year and a half ago. And he still on the wall of the house had the photograph that was taken the day of the accident. So I'm trying to find a good home for it. So if anybody cares to have that, I would
We'd love to see it. We'd love to see it on screen, actually.
If you could send me a picture, Kit.
I'll send you. It's a very old, obviously, 1963.
Yeah, and okay, I need to say something now. Okay, the 40-minute Zoom limit might expire in 2 minutes. What's going to happen? And Pete Stevens told me how to do this. As it gets close to the time when I get a clock counting down, I will leave the group, but the meeting will continue. Once the meeting times out, just hit the link again, and we should be able to proceed for another 40 minutes.
Let me just say something, John. I just had a message saying that it was timed out and there was no time limit.
Yeah, I had that as well.
I've just had the same thing.
Then that means that I am special and we're good to go.
We're going. Okay.
Self-recommendation and all that.
Yeah, well done, Colonel.
Yeah,
I believe it charges the host $100 for extra minute. For every extra minute, it charges the host $100.
I want to go back to Peter. I want to go back to Peter Pratt because a lot of us have read his book, and some of you are too cheap to go to Amazon.com and buy it. So let Peter tell us his story.
Okay, well, thanks, John. I haven't got a backdrop, I'm afraid, to put against it, but I suppose I always had a bit of a reputation as a raconteur, and the number of people always used to say to me, gosh, you've got to, when you retire, you've got to write your memoirs. So a few years after retirement, I thought, right, I'm going to do that. And I started writing it at my place I have out in Spain. And it sort of ran away with me a little bit. And it wasn't just my memoirs, it was other people's memoirs as well. And basically, I started in 1967, starting when, as I said last week, when Derek had come ashore and started teaching me in London office how to book passengers, and went away to see Orchides, Oriana, Orchides, Orsova, and then eventually Spirit of London. And then I got into a spot of bother, and eventually, after being put in suspension, I was demoted from a DP down to senior AP and sent with a certain Richard Rutter out to the rust bucket of the fleet, which was the Oronze at the time. And we had a great...
It was a great ship, Peter.
Oh, fantastic. We had a great time on there.
Yes, I remember it well.
Yeah. And then... eventually I got put back on the Sun Princess. I got promoted. I went to Oriana again first, that's right. And then eventually back on the Sun Princess, where I never looked back. And by the time I got up to about 1982, I suddenly realized I had a book full. So I've decided I would make it into a trilogy. And so I've only produced volume 1 so far, which was 1967 to 1982. And I'm about 70% of the way through 1982 to 1997. But all my notes and everything are out in Spain, and I can't get there at the moment. But hopefully in a few months' time, I should get volume 2 out. I haven't got a title for it yet. And then I can start work on the final chapter, which was 1998 until when I retired in 2010.
Okay, that's nice.
Can I
have had great reviews on Amazon. If you look it up,
Please, may I speak to Peter, please?
Yeah, sorry.
Colin Doughty. Hello, Peter. How are you?
Hi, Colin.
Hi, how you doing? All right. You and I sailed on the Orchides when I was a bellboy.
I do remember it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny enough, I do remember it. But
I was a bellboy in 68.
Yeah.
1968.
I was a cadet then, wasn't I?
Yes, you were. Yeah, indeed. Yeah. And then the next time I saw you, I think, was on the Sun Princess.
Yeah, that's right. When you were,
that would have been after or I can't remember exactly, about the mid-70s, maybe, or after that, maybe.
I went there as a relief in '78, I think, was the first time I was allowed back on the West Coast again. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, that was, and I think there's the last time I saw you was on the Sea Princess, actually, in '84.
Yeah, that would have been right. Yeah, that's right. I did what 4 years on the Sun Princess as DP, and I knew the day would eventually come when they decided they would have to move me, and I dreaded that day. But they moved me back to P&O onto the Sea Princess for the round the world trip.
That's right. I did that. I think that was the last trip I did. Was the world trip. I think.
Yeah, I went to there as admin DP, which I hadn't done a UK cash account for about 7 years. I hadn't been to Australia for 7 years, the Far East for 9 years, and I had, oh God, you know, I had a hell of a time. But it was okay, you know, it was all right. You know.
Yeah, good fun.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Peter Jennison was the purser at the time.
Oh, Peter, yes, Peter Jennison, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, Peter was purser on the Orchides when I was there, I think.
Yeah,
or deputy purser.
He was deputy purser. He was deputy purser when.
Yeah.
You were a bellboy and I was a purser cadet. Yeah.
Yeah.
God, well done. Yeah.
Got John Chamberlain.
Sorry, Peter. Nice one.
Yeah. No, that's right.
He was a very nice man.
Yeah, he was actually.
He was.
He was very old-fashioned, Peter. I'll never forget. Eventually, when I got made up to purser, I took over from Peter Jennison on the Island Princess down in Sydney the day he retired. And you know, I've never seen a man so happy all my life as the day he retired. You know, he was quite incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, Brendan, you and I used to do all these cocktail parties.
That's right, we did.
We did. He asked us especially every time.
He used to have classical music playing before the party started.
Yeah.
And he'd have a conductor's baton in his hand. And it'd be, you know.
That's right.
And he said to us something like, "Have you heard of Beethoven's Fifth?" And I said, we didn't know what he was talking about, you know. We were Philistines.
No, he was a sound fella, though. He was a good man.
He was very good. Lovely man.
At his retirement lunch, and there was only about 4 people there, he wanted it very low key. I confessed to him that I was the one that made him an apple pie bed on the Lawrence in 1963.
Well, the day I took over from him in Sydney on the Island Princess as purser, they'd only just introduced the computer onto the ships, and I didn't know anything about it. And I said to him when I arrived on board, I said, "Peter, what can you tell me about the computer?" And he looked at me and he went, "Dear boy, you don't have anything to do with it. It's horrendous." And that was my handover. That was it.
Okay, I've muted everybody. So it has to be said, sorry to interrupt you, Peter, that me, Dave, and Steve being the originator, crew bar director, we must say that all management and officers who are in the crew bar, welcome, because this is not the wardroom, this is the crew bar. So having said that, you can unmute yourselves. Unmute.
All right. I've unmuted. I've done it.
Yeah,
I found out how to do that now.
Yeah.
Bottom left.
Tremble.
And well, we've got everyone listening as well. I've just had a message from Phil Butcher on via Ollie's Pocket, and he has tried to click on the link without any luck. But Colonel, myself, and Steve will go, contact him in the next few days and give him a practice run on getting onto Zoom. But he just says, say hi to me say hi to everyone from Phil Butcher. So Phil says
Yeah, Phil.
a special hi to everyone.
The passcode, button in a moment. The passcode. Did I hear you say there was a G in it?
Yeah, the last one. The last one is a
No,
J.
it's a J. That wasn't on the one I got. I don't think that's where I've been going wrong.
Yes, I saw that you missed the last word.
I didn't realise that the caveman. How long has the caveman been in the bar?
Caveman's been
It's
here
been a
for
while.
A long time.
He's been there forever.
You're not used to having 20.
Hiding under his daybed.
It's not captain's inspection today, caveman.
Yeah.
You're not used to having 23 orderly people in the crew bar at one time, and nobody talking
I'm
over
not.
one another.
I'm a bit disappointed that Frank, the surgeon's not on, and also the other two pursers. But hopefully, Mr. Pratt can convince them that we keep it clean. There's nothing bad said. So if you could convince them to join us, that'd be good.
That's probably why they haven't come on, Colonel.
Who are we talking about? Mike Hawksworth.
Tell the story about
John, you are on silent. Okay. Okay.
Everybody's speaking at once.
Yeah.
Peter, can you tell the story about the caveman and the inspection? You remember it?
I know this story.
I'll never forget that.
I did
I
actually.
love it.
I've been looking forward to actually having a word with Kevin. Kevin, I don't know whether I brought something up with me tonight, and I wanted to thank you because I don't know if you can cast your mind back to 1981.
Yeah.
I was always a big Rolling Stones fan. I was increasingly frustrated as we came down the West Coast, Vancouver, Seattle, San Francisco, LA, that the Stones were playing a concert in each stadium as we came down the coast, but we were never overnight.
Right.
So I could never get to see the Stones. But you very kindly, after we left Los Angeles, I think you knew somebody who managed to get a recording of the LA Dodgers Stadium concert.
Right.
And you got the concert recorded for me on 2 cassettes, which I have here. I still have, you recorded them for me, and I still have them, and I was forever grateful to you, Kevin. And
you're more than welcome. I mean, I used to blast it when I was in the office there, and once in a while, either you or I can't remember who else would come down and say, we like the Stones, but can you turn it down a little bit?
I think it was just not all the passengers actually liked it.
Yeah, really.
We liked it in the shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, Kid.
Oh, it's all on the same level, isn't it? There's John. John Trimmer's just arrived.
No, he's been all.
Here I'm here, guys. I've been watching, but I didn't realise I was muted.
Very quiet, John. Yes, cheers to you, mate.
It's the Colonel that keeps
Yeah, well, eventually everyone will get used to the mute button because I have the control of that.
Eventually, I'll get onto a screen where I can see
order.
Yeah.
Sorry. Parliament order, isn't it? Order.
Obviously, the best way to do this is on a laptop because even on an iPad, you can't get the gallery. But
that's fine. Yeah, my problem.
Yeah, same with me, John.
Yeah.
I can see you now because you're talking.
Yeah, like I said,
I never sorted it out.
When you use the iPad, not the iPad, the laptop or MacBook, you'll get everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, I might think about that. See if I can change.
You have to swipe across and I can see 4 on each screen.
Same here. I can see 4 myself.
Yeah,
and 3
you can
others.
only see 4.
Yeah, I can only see one of each piece of person who speaks. I can see.
Right.
Yeah,
that means that's how many screens you've got.
Right. When people talk, I can see you.
Yeah.
Because me and I feel like REM. That's me in the corner at the bottom.
Right. Yeah. Same with me.
Yeah. That's me in the corner at the bottom.
Peter, there you are.
And I can see John. I've just seen Peter. I keep seeing you, Steve, because you're talking, and that's not.
Colin, at the bottom of your screen, are there a line of dots?
Yes, there are.
Yes. Right.
Move them. Move.
You swipe
Right.
across.
Yeah, I know. I can only get 4 people up at a time.
Yeah.
It'll only give me 4 people.
Yeah.
We'll take you to another screen, with another 4 people.
No, yeah, that's right. I know that. Yeah, it's probably the way it's working for me is I'm finding this better when to just leave it on the single screen. When people talk, I can see who's talking.
Okay, I'm talking then. So I want to change the subject from what the Crew Bar is all about, just for a few seconds, to talk to the BBC sports editor, Mr. Pete Stevens, about today's match.
What was the score?
Were you there? Just before you start, Peter, were you there?
No. I've been at home all day. I was looking after the appalling game at Crystal Palace first.
Oh, okay.
Pete, hang on, Pete. Hang on. I know it was an appalling game, but they got a point each.
Yeah.
That's one.
I want to hear his unbiased report on the Chelsea United game.
Okay. Everybody quiet for Pete Stevens.
We were unlucky. No, it was a good game. Well, it was a fair result, wasn't it? It'd have been that penalty. VAR wasn't a penalty. So no, come on. It'd be getting silly if you get penalties for that as well. No, Chelsea played well. United played well. It was a really, if there is such a good thing as a good 0-0 draw, well, then that was one of them. Completely different to the Palace Fulham game. Yeah. They should have just, text them a point each and not bother with the game. It was that awful.
That's very funny.
Yeah,
there's another 90 minutes I won't get back in my life. So
okay, so now I want to move on to Taffy.
Yeah, Alan, you're very quiet.
Everybody quiet. So Taffy, I was reading there's some controversy over the referees, the refs yesterday.
Yes. Well, thank you for asking, John. As always, I don't have to go into too much detail of the game, except to say there's always a welcome in the valleys for the English. A warm welcome.
You got well planned yesterday.
Isn't it like the ref was born in Cardiff?
Particularly the Millennium Stadium, which of course for me is still the Cardiff Arms Park. It was the most weirdest game I've ever watched. But what I really enjoyed as a Welshman was that we held it together for 80 minutes, even though it was a weird game. Yeah. And that's what professional sports people should do. They should hold it together, even when things are going against them. And my boy's done it, so.
You and your one daffodil.
Alan, did you know that the French referee's great grandfather was managing for?
He's
had it in for us ever since.
He's going to be playing for Risca United Rugby Football Club next week. I've invited him to the Taff Mobile for Welsh rabbits.
Here, Taffy, these are for you.
Thank you, Noel. I have 2 questions for our very esteemed guests. The first one is to Mr. Peter Pratt.
Yeah.
I have difficulty reading books nowadays, but I can read a book on my MacBook Pro.
Okay.
So that's how I read my books.
Right.
And I'm just wondering, I downloaded a book a couple of months ago onto my laptop.
Yeah.
Am I able to download your book, Peter, down to my laptop?
You can certainly download it on Kindle.
Kindle, yeah.
Right.
So I think you can probably download it onto MacBook.
Right, I'll try it out.
If
anybody's interested, it's here.
Yeah.
Easy.
You can certainly download it onto Kindle, and I would think you can download it onto MacBook then.
I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have a go then. I'll get further details off the Colonel.
Yeah.
Hello. Hello.
Taffy,
Could we not organise-
Taffy,
Hello.
Taffy, just one more thing about the Welsh match yesterday. I don't know whether you heard, but the police went and arrested the whole of the English squad after the match for lockdown and making an unnecessary.
Could we not organise some sort of a dealership with the book on our Seafarers WhatsApp or whatever? Yeah.
Yeah.
Trying to get a deal.
Yeah, some way of organising a book deal.
Yeah, I'm all for that. I'm not sure how to get hold.
Sorry, well done, Colonel. Yeah, sorry.
I'm happy to offer a decent.
Sorry, Taff. For those...
May I make one more comment to Mr. Warmington? Really nice to see you there. And you mentioned Derek Houghton. Houghton.
Derek Houghton.
I arrived in New York Harbor June 1973 to join the Canberra, my very first ship. I walked up the gangway because there was a plane load of us arrived. I walked up the gangway. The first person I met was Alfie Seven, the legend Alfie Seven.
The Fly.
I remember Alfie.
No, that was Mike
and
Seven.
the second person I met,
That's Mike Seven. I do apologise. Yeah, you're right. That was Mike Seven.
Alfie Seven. He was a public room steward and then became a barman.
That's the full
I
player.
worked with them on Oriana.
Yes. And as I walked into the foyer of the Canberra, my first ever steps on a ship, there was a desk with Mr. Houghton.
That's it, yeah.
Mr. Houghton.
Yeah.
And the purser was a Taffy something. I'm not sure his name, but he was most impressed that a young Welsh boy from the valleys had joined his ship. So that was the first two people I met. I got immediately made up almost to a public room steward in no time because the purser was Taffy, whatever his name was. So
yeah, he's still going strong. I think he must be 92 this year.
No,
Or was
he's
it
91
last year? 91. You're right, 91. He was going to celebrate his 90th last year, and of course it got cancelled, didn't the party?
Yeah.
He married Sheila Kessler, who was a hostess, and they got married in Las Vegas in about 66, 67, something like that. Yeah.
Well, they were all very kind to me.
Yeah, I spoke with Derek on the phone about 2 weeks ago.
Did you? Yeah.
He's still in good health. Takes life a bit easy now, but at the age of 90, what do you expect?
Yeah. I'm feeling young at 70.
I'm feeling old at 72.
I think I'm the oldest one present at the moment, because if Phil Butcher turned up, he would have been. He's 6 months older than me.
What age is Phil Butcher?
He's the same as me. 79.
Yeah.
Is he really? Shit. Yeah. Wow. Something else.
Yeah.
I was only at sea for 6.5 years. I literally had just left when you came in on the induction, didn't you, Peter? Yeah. I just left the sea then.
Yeah. And
what was that Irish guy? Harry who? Harry what?
Harry Bell.
Harry Bell.
Harry Bell. He was second.
Harry Bell.
Accommodation
He must be snuffed by now, has he?
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Harry Bell on Oriana and a few others.
We've been trying to find out. Mike Hawksworth and I have been trying to find out about Harry Bell because nobody's
Harry
heard.
Bell, yeah, he wasn't a bad bloke.
I have an address for him in Dublin. but
Really?
Mike's phone number. Mike tried phoning a few times, but never got any reply.
Right.
So we don't know quite what's happened to him. You know,
But he must be probably.
And I thought Harry had passed.
Well, he may well have done. He may well.
He
have
might
done.
have, because he must be 80 plus.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's old, God.
He may well have. He may well have done, and his wife may have moved to.
I can tell you his date
Okay.
of birth. I'll look it up.
Could anybody remember? What about My Pretty? Where's My Pretty?
My Pretty. Oh, Desdemona.
Desdemona.
Desdemona. Yeah.
Crushed ice.
Yeah, she used to wear a caftan, didn't she? All the, you know, not behind the bar all the time, but she did when she was off work.
Dave,
I
you remember he used to say,
Peter,
Dave.
we were just mentioning earlier on, you know, when John said you were all welcome in the crew bar on the Sun Princess.
Yeah.
I seem to remember, I think you spent most of your time in there than the wardroom anyway. And I have this marvellous picture. Do you remember the dues we used to have in the Hong Kong Hilton?
Oh,
yes.
definitely.
Yeah.
Do you
And there
recognise?
was Dave Inge. You
Not a very
remember
good shot, I don't think.
Desdemona would be swirling the crushed ice around with his finger and he'd say, I'm sorry for the way things are in
Brilliant.
China.
You just looked up Harry Bell.
That's the Hong Kong Hilton, Peter.
Hong Kong Hilton. Yeah.
With Fraser under one arm and my ex-wife under the other.
Yes.
I've got a 1984 officer seniority list on my iPad, and I've just looked up Harry Bell, and his date of birth was the 23rd of July 1933, which would mean he's 87. 87.
Wow, flipping heck.
Fuck's sake.
So Derek, you mentioned about Mix 7. Well, you mentioned Mix 7,
yeah.
the Fly. Why was he called the Fly?
Because he was buzzing everywhere, I think, but I honestly can't remember.
No. He was my first boss when I first joined the Canberra. And I was
Peter, how he got the name The Fly? I don't remember, but he was always known as The Fly.
Yeah, I think it was just because he was everywhere. Yeah.
What's the name of that other
No. And Bobo, you were saying about the head waiter on the Canberra. I think it might have been Corcoran, the Irish head waiter.
Yes, I remember him, Dave.
Yeah, Corky, yeah. And he used to, his expression was that we'll have no cowboying in this restaurant. There'll be no cowboying.
Oh, yeah.
I was a terrible waiter. I was a terrible waiter. I was the worst waiter he had.
And
Half the restaurant was like the OK Corral sometimes, I tell you.
It was
Dave
terrible.
Hughes.
Yeah.
Dave Hughes. Anybody remember Dave Hughes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Remember him.
I remember on the Uganda. I think it was the last
time I saw.
cruise.
Yeah, Dave Hughes.
I think it was the last cruise before it was went to the Falklands.
Yeah.
And he was the mate to Dee, and there was a birthday cake ordered. So anyway, I've done this birthday cake. He's come and got it, took it in the restaurant. He came flaming out. His face was redder than what it normally was. He said,
Yes.
you don't know what's just happened. I said, no idea, David. He said, I got all the waiters together to sing happy birthday. He said, I'm only around the wrong bloody table, he said.
He used to have a muster rally every evening.
You remember Gypsy Jones?
Yeah, Arthur Jones.
Yeah.
Gypsy Jones.
We were both wingers when
and going back a bit further, Mary Pickford. Anybody remember Mary Pickford?
Not yet. I think it was Newcastle.
Brother Shaw in Southampton.
David, we were both wingers when. 1 second.
Can we say hello to Pam Hogan?
Oh, Pam.
Pam.
Hello, Pam Hogan.
Tinker.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Pam.
Hi.
Hi, Pam.
It's Pam at the minute.
There's so many people on the screen tonight, it's hard to see who's
Hard
who.
to see, yes.
Yeah, it's 22, 23.
It's going to be 30 next week, Dave. Don't worry.
Well,
Hello,
it'll be
Pam.
definitely 24 with Phil Butcher next week. We'll have him on. We'll get him on by then.
Did
Have
anybody?
you got a little story for us, Pam? Have you got a
no.
little story for us?
Not tonight, Josephine.
Hi, Dave.
All right. You never put a color in my hair this week. Sorry about that.
Hello, Alan. Did anybody ever get in touch with Fraser?
No.
That's a work in progress.
Oh, yeah, they can, yeah. I'm talking.
The Taffmobile is on tour from April the 13th. And I'm heading all the South Coast first to see what I can find. And then I'm going to head north. And I'm going to
You're more than welcome, South Coast.
I'm going to try and track down Fraser and another great lad from that era, whose name was, we used to call him Sparrow.
Can hear you.
Oh, yeah, Sparrow, yeah.
Yeah, Sparrow.
So this summer we'll dig up some old faces.
Mick Callow is in contact with Sparrow.
Yeah.
But I still think, Taffy, you should get Nevin and come to Ireland.
We will come to Ireland.
Yeah.
But whether Nevin comes or not, I don't know. But we'll get over there.
Well, I hope you do, because
we will.
We're coming out in Taffy's rocket.
Yeah.
Have you got a little bit of tarmac out the back away from the house that I can park my Taffmobile up on?
we've loads of tarmac and loads of space around us, so.
Wonderful.
Yeah, and Noel has plenty of room.
Don't forget, remember when we used to go up to Vancouver when we were cruising from there, on a Saturday morning, we all went up to the big shopping center on, I can't remember the street.
On Granville Street.
Having breakfast, but when someone new would walk in, the first thing they would say is, all those who can't tap dance are queer. And we all get up and dance. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was in the,
Wasn't it the Elephant and Castle, the pub?
It's called the
Elephant
Castle.
Yeah.
We were sat by.
Try and rush and get the football results. First of all,
I need a heads up on the Elephant and Castle. Second, just give me a second. This is Dave Inge. Okay, David, you're listening to this. I know you will. Right. So we were in the Elephant and Castle. I think Gizzy was there. Dave Inge, probably Des Grundy, maybe a couple of others like that, you know. And the town crier came in one day, an English town crier, rang the bells. Oh yay, oh yay, oh yay. Greetings to the citizens of Britain from the citizens of Canada, like that. And he did all the blurb and all that. And then a couple of seconds later, he came over to us and he said, "Are you guys all from England?" And we all said, yeah. He said, "I'm going back there next week." And Dave said, "Don't wear that drag, dear." I loved it. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
I remember another time in Vancouver when I was very kindly invited by the bar staff to go out for lunch with them up to the tower, the revolving restaurant. I think you were there, Dave. I can't remember everybody else that was there.
Oh, I remember.
Quite enough there, but coming back down in the lift, when the lift came, there was a manageress there. And as the lift opened and we went in, I think it was Dave, grabbed her and pulled her in the lift. Of course, she had to come all the way down with us. Halfway down, and again, I think it was you, Dave, did a moon over Vancouver because it was outside lift.
Somebody did. I think somebody did it. I can't remember who it was.
The most famous moon.
Half the story, because I think Fraser was in there who helped.
That was the most famous moon.
Just the half. He made it the full moon, and then when we got to the bottom, we got out the doors and we had to start legging it. And of course, I remember I was tripping over because my trousers were down by my ankles.
If I recollect, Dave, I think Fraser was so pissed he spent about 5 minutes trying to get his kecks down, and by the time he got his kecks down, we were like 2 seconds from the ground floor. So when the doors opened, Fraser just about I've never legged it so fast. I've been pissed in my life.
Yeah, lovely. Hang on, excuse me. Let's just 15:08. I've got to press something now. Where is it? It's yeah. Here we go.
A press release.
Right.
Okay, how many on board tonight?
20. That was up to 23, I think, Seamus, which is great. Up to 23, but the alarm went because, as you know, and most of us are crew bar frequenters, we know it's gone past the hour of 8 in UK or 1 o'clock in US or wherever you. Or what's the time down? No, Bob's up here in UK.
Sorry, no, I'm in the UK. Yeah.
But we are coming to the end of what is going to be the first of many crew bars Zoom.
Lots and lots.
But excuse me, we do have one further announcement. Although this is coming to the end of the crew bar, there is an end of the crew bar special to follow this, which you'll have to wait until you see the recording of this particular crew bar episode, because yes, we've got another special from Oscar and his stories.
To go out.
But can everybody put their hands together to applaud Colonel for putting this together and put, helping everybody through this last week to get it up and running. I think a very special round of applause for the Colonel.
Absolutely. Well done, Colonel. Absolutely marvellous.
Well done.
Very good man. Good man.
Well done, John.
And for everybody, including Pete Stevens, who helped us initially with the Zoom, as was, and Steve for coming in and helping. So, yeah, a really
Just one question before you go. Will the passcode be the same every week?
Right. I was just about to mute you all. Yes. Thanks to Mrs. Kling, who you can see behind me, she arranged it that the crew bar is a reoccurring Zoom meeting with the same code. So there'll be no confusion. I can repost the code, but you don't need to. If you keep the same code and you click on it, then we'll all be here. So saying that, I am going to officially press the button and you'll all be gone. You'll be going bye-bye. So we'll see you next week. And Dave, thanks everybody.
Hello.
Thank you.
Cheers, Colonel.
Yeah.
Ollie's Pocket with Oscar's Pocket Stories. How did you get your nickname? Everybody at some time or other, if at sea, gets a nickname. They usually stick for the rest of their life. I was no different, and many people thought I was christened Oscar. However, uniquely to me, I arrived on board with one already, though at first no one knew it. At age 7 years, I joined the Cub Scouts along with a group of school friends. Mr. Gamble, the Scoutmaster, had a problem remembering names. So, if stuck, he would give a name from a Rudyard Kipling book, usually The Jungle Book, on which a lot of scouting is based. Several boys already had been given names like Shere Khan. One evening, he read out his customary Kipling story and afterwards asked questions. I put up my hand to answer one. You boy, Oscar, he said, and everybody roared with laughter as the name was from the book he was reading. I think it was the book Kim about a boy spy in India. So next day at school, I found that all my friends would only call me Oscar. I went to sea school at 16, and no one knew my nickname. Also, on my first trip to sea as a lift boy, it was hidden from all on board. However, on my second trip, I was made Bureau Bellboy, and at the first port of call, the name became known by a prank of the cadet purser, Dickie Rutter, who many of you know from later when he was purser. The two of us were sorting the mail for the crew, just come on board via the agent. Dickie held a letter aloft and said to me, "Do you have a brother on board?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, this cannot be for you. It's addressed to Oscar Bradshaw." "Oh, yes, please, Dickie, it's mine from a school friend," I cried. So he would only give me my letter after I told him the story of how I was Oscar, which I was forced to do with a plea to tell no one else. Fat chance. Dickie waited his moment. That evening, everybody met in the crew bar, the Pig and Whistle, for the crew club committee nominations and elections. To start the meeting, the club chairman invited the two purser's officers sent down by the purser to address everyone. Rutter and Ian Henshaw, Junior AP, came up to explain the company grant to the Sports and Social Club and the rules under how it should be spent on sports equipment, etc. They then retired to the back of the room and were given beers for their efforts, and the election began. When it came to bellboy representative, the first boy nominated refused to stand as he was now 18 and about to be made a waiter. The chairman then said, "Any more nominations?" And a rather languid public school voice from the back said, "How about Oscar?" Everyone present asked, "Who is Oscar?" Dickie replied, "Why, the Bureau Bellboy right there," and pointed to me. Son of a bitch, what a dastardly plan. So I became bellboy representative, and forever after, I was known as Oscar. Well, ta-ta from Oscar.